Mr. Chairman, thank you again for the opportunity. Your predecessor, Joe Simitian, used to say that state your thesis first and then get on with it, Grindley. So let me tell you my thesis today is you have a very simple choice to make. You can either have your choo-choo train, Governor, or you can obey the laws of the state. Before you are three documents. The first of those, called Plus ça change, c'est la même chose, says that the business plan that the authority has just adopted is just more of the same, sugar-coated nothingness. It has misrepresentations. It has misleading statements. The second of those documents, actually I presented on March 27th, it's called If You Build It, They Will Not Come. It shows that for at least the first 7 years of the High-Speed Rail Authority's introduction of high-speed rail into California, they are offering a product which does not compete in either time or cost with driving or flying. And the third of those documents, all 95 pages of it, is why cap-and-trade cannot be used to support the high-speed train. Both legally and financially, it's a folly. Let me touch on the first of those. There are at least three statements in page 3 of my handout to you that show where, once again, the authority totally ignores the laws which should be governing them. They not only recognize that they need an operating subsidy during the first years of it, but they put a price tag on it. That's entry-level price tag, folks. Secondly, they admit that they will not even complete the high-speed rail's initial operating segment before 2020, which is required in the law. Only the IOS will be completed, in their words, by 2022. Third, they keep talking about, well, we're going to go at speeds of 220 miles an hour, but they've fudged, and now that is 200 miles an hour. It is your duty to not only pass laws, but to make sure the agencies of this government obey them. The second document, If You Build, They Will Not Come, shows in detail how long it takes to get from a suburb of Los Angeles, Norwalk, to Berkeley, as opposed to driving, as opposed to flying. If you were to take the train between 2022 and 2026, when only the section from Silmar to Madera is open, it would take you 8 hours, 37 minutes. You can drive it in 6. All right? It will cost you $107. You can drive that for $58, or total cost on their figures is $98. I know no better way, because I come from Silicon Valley, to destroy a brand by introducing an inferior product. The third, the compendium of why you can't use high-speed rail, the authority says the 300 miles will not be finished by 2022, which makes it illegal under the AB 32 cap-and-trade funds, because the Air Resources Board says they're supposed to be helping make the goals by 2020. I won't go through what the 4 papers say, but think of this. At the present cost in flat Central Valley land is $93 million a mile. So even if they're able to get $1 billion a year out of whatever bill emerges in the hidden nights of July of this year, right? If they get $1 billion a year, they can only go about 12 miles. Taking that calculation and putting it together, you come up with completing only the IOS, that is the first 300 of 520 miles, in the next 80 years. How does California squander these hundreds of millions of dollars? As has already been said by Senator Vidak, here it is right here before you. Here is what was promised. Here is what is now being done. There is no resemblance. The next 4 of those slides show the facts of there is no 2-hour and 40-minute that can be completed. This one shows you what worldwide experiences are on the actual cost per passenger mile. The authority's charges are about half to a quarter of that, and the same thing for the operating costs. The final one shows you we have again and again and again requested of the High-Speed Rail Authority that they provide us information on operating costs. They not only turned us down, we're nothing but citizens, they turned down the Government Accountability Office of the United States. Transparency is not the nickname. Finally, profitability is a claim that the Europeans might make, but the 3 silos on this page show that the Europeans have 3 different accounting systems. In the United States, the DOT, Department of Transportation, only allows you to put it all, revenues and all expenditures, in one pot. Let me close by reading to you from a former member of this august body. News that the Transbay Terminal is something like $300 million over budget should not come as a surprise to anyone. We always knew that the initial estimate was way under the real cost, just like we never had the real cost for the Central Subway or the Bay Bridge or any other massive construction project. So get off of it. In the world of civic projects, the first budget is really just a down payment. If people knew the real cost from the start, nothing would ever get approved. So the idea is get going, start digging a hole, make it so big that there's no alternative except to fill it. That's Willie Brown telling it like it was last July 28th. And instead of going to jail, Willie got the bridge named after him. So I question you, is high-speed rail just another case of this is the way it is? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Grindley.